In the desolate expanse of the Arctic, where the unforgiving cold and piercing winds reigned supreme, a small group of scientists and explorers embarked on an expedition into the heart of the frozen wilderness. They sought to uncover the mysteries hidden beneath the ice, unaware that they would soon encounter horrors that defied imagination. The team of adventurers, led by Dr. Elizabeth Harper, consisted of seasoned researchers and daring thrill seekers. Together, they had come to the Arctic with the hope of making groundbreaking discoveries about the ancient world that lay buried beneath the ice. Dr. Harper, a respected paleontologist, had long been fascinated by the potential revelations that the Arctic's icy depths held. She believed that the frozen tundra could provide a window into Earth's prehistoric past, where creatures long extinct might be preserved in a state of suspended animation. As they set up their camp deep in the Arctic wilderness, the team's excitement was palpable. Their extensive preparations had brought them to this remote location, and they believed that they were on the cusp of scientific breakthroughs that could reshape our understanding of the world. Yet, as the expedition delved deeper into the Arctic wasteland, the eerie silence that surrounded them became more pronounced. The endless, desolate whiteness of the landscape stretched in all directions, creating an oppressive sense of isolation. The only sound that could be heard was the howling of the relentless wind. Each night, as the crew gathered in their remote camp, they couldn't help but feel that they were not alone in the wilderness. Shadows danced at the periphery of their vision, and the ice seemed to whisper secrets of a forgotten past. Dr. Harper, despite her scientific disposition, found herself occasionally haunted by the feeling that they were being observed by some unseen presence. She'd wake in the middle of the night, the cold seeping into her bones, and peer out into the desolation. There, in the pale moonlight, she thought she glimpsed figures in the distance, swaying like spectral sentinels. The team members began to share their own uneasy experiences. Some claimed to hear faint, distant voices carried on the wind, words in a language they couldn't understand. Others spoke of seeing strange, shadowy forms moving in the ice fields, as though the very landscape harbored elusive, ancient inhabitants. These encounters with the unknown filled the camp with a deep sense of disquiet. The isolation, the relentless cold, and the lurking feeling that they were being observed combined to create an eerie atmosphere that none of them could shake. Their quest for scientific discovery was beginning to take on an unsettling aura of the supernatural, and the line between reality and legend blurred in the heart of the Arctic wilderness. Their relentless exploration soon led them to a discovery that would change their lives forever. Beneath the ice, they unearthed a subterranean cavern, a place of eerie beauty and terrifying revelations. The walls of the cavern glistened with ice crystals, their fragile elegance a stark contrast to the foreboding darkness that stretched further within. As the explorers ventured deeper into the cave's depths, the walls revealed strange hieroglyphic carvings, hinting at an ancient civilization that had long been lost to history. The carvings depicted surreal scenes of monstrous beings, colossal structures, and strange rituals. Dr. Harper recognized none of the symbols. They seemed to belong to an entirely unknown culture. The explorers were both fascinated and disturbed by the unearthly nature of their findings. Dr. Harper's scientific curiosity was tempered by an unshakable sense of unease. It was as if the very walls of the cave held the memories and secrets of an ancient and enigmatic civilization that had been concealed beneath the ice for eons. As they continued to explore, their flashlights revealed chambers that seemed to have been intentionally concealed, and some bore hieroglyphics that appeared to be warnings. The unease in the group grew, but their curiosity pushed them further into the labyrinthine heart of the cave. One fateful night, as the crew slept in their isolated camp, a strange presence made itself known. A series of haunting whispers echoed through the frigid air, growing louder and more persistent with each passing moment. The whispers seemed to come from beneath the ice itself, as if the very ground held the secrets of the past. Dr. Harper, the expedition's leader, was the first to experience an unsettling vision. She awoke in the dead of night to find herself standing at the entrance of the cavern. Her body moved of its own accord, drawn to the depths of the cave, where a chilling, unseen force beckoned her. It was as though the ancient hieroglyphics had awakened an intelligence within the cave itself, a presence that sought to communicate with them. The unearthly whispers grew clearer, as if trying to convey a dire warning, yet the language was foreign and incomprehensible, leaving the explorers in a state of deep unease. Despite the increasing sense of foreboding, their curiosity drove them further into the labyrinthine heart of the cave. The walls of the cavern bore more carvings, and it became evident that the ancient civilization had worshipped deities that defied description. The carvings depicted monstrous, tentacled entities, each more horrifying than the last. With every step deeper into the cave, they felt they were unearthing the remnants of an ancient eldritch culture that had been intentionally buried beneath the ice for untold millennia. The hieroglyphics on the walls seemed to act as warnings, as if the cave itself wished to convey the dread and danger of what lay hidden within. As they ventured into chambers that had clearly been concealed, their apprehension grew. They discovered murals that seemed to depict harrowing events, scenes of conflict between the ancient civilization and monstrous tentacled entities. The images conveyed a sense of despair and destruction, and the explorers couldn't help but wonder if the fate of the civilization had been sealed by their interactions with these otherworldly beings. The unease in the group grew palpable, and a sense of dread began to linger like a shadow in the corners of their minds. Yet their relentless pursuit of knowledge and their belief in the significance of their discoveries compelled them to push onward, further into the chilling and claustrophobic depths of the cave. As the days went on, the expedition members started to experience nightmarish visions. They spoke of dreams in which they were pursued by grotesque humanoid figures, their faces obscured by icy masks. The beings seemed to be trapped beneath the ice, reaching out to them with spectral hands. Dr. Harper, plagued by her own visions, could no longer ignore the growing sense of dread that enveloped the camp. The ancient hieroglyphs carved into the cave walls took on a malevolent aura, and the whispers became an ever-present, unsettling chorus. These dreams and visions blurred the line between reality and nightmare. The team members recounted tales of walking through a frozen, desolate landscape, pursued by the icy masked figures that appeared to be both trapped and desperate. They could feel the frigid breath of these beings on the backs of their necks, even after waking, leaving them in a state of perpetual unease. With each day, the expedition felt more like a descent into madness. The once tight-knit group now began to fracture as the weight of their experiences bore down upon them. Anxiety, paranoia, and fear spread like wildfire among them. Yet, their determination to uncover the secrets of the cave's ancient civilization remained unshaken. Driven by a mixture of scientific curiosity and an unquenchable desire for answers, they pressed onward into the heart of the subterranean labyrinth, their footsteps echoing with an eerie, relentless rhythm that seemed to resonate with the very soul of the cave itself. They were on the precipice of understanding something that transcended their comprehension, and the price of such knowledge was beginning to reveal itself in the form of the nightmarish visions and increasing tension among the group. The cave's secrets, as they were slowly unraveled, became darker, more cryptic, and infinitely more terrifying. The isolation, the relentless cold, and the unending whispers began to take a toll on the expedition members. Their once cohesive group was now fractured, each member battling their own growing paranoia and fear. The expedition's camp, once a place of warmth and camaraderie, had become a den of unease and discord. The howling winds of the Arctic seemed to carry not only the chill of the outside world, but also the unsettling weight of their experiences within the cave. One night, as a blizzard raged outside the camp, Dr. Harper's mental state deteriorated further. The ever-present whispers had gnawed at the edges of her sanity until she could no longer distinguish reality from the haunting dreams that plagued her. In the dimly lit confines of the camp, as the blizzard howled, she became convinced that the icy beings from her dreams were among them. She accused her team of conspiring against her, believing that they were under the influence of the malevolent entities they had uncovered in the cave. The accusations and her growing paranoia tore through the group like a fissure in the ice, widening the fractures in their once united front. Trust disintegrated, and the team members, once bound by their shared goals, now found themselves isolated in their own personal nightmares. The expedition, which had begun with the promise of scientific discovery, now teetered on the edge of a precipice. As the blizzard raged on outside, the members faced a more immediate and unsettling danger from within, a danger that stemmed from their own unraveling minds and the malevolent forces that seemed to have taken root in the depths of the cave. Her accusations sent shockwaves through the group. The trust that had once bound them had disintegrated, leaving a vacuum filled with fear and uncertainty. Each member now eyed their companions with suspicion, wondering if they too had fallen under the influence of the malevolent entities. Paranoia festered in the camp, much like the icy winds that howled outside, cutting through their very souls. Sleepless nights, fueled by anxiety and dread, became the norm as each expedition member grappled with their own growing fears. The once clear line between reality and the nightmarish visions became blurred for the entire team. Dreams and reality melded into one, as the expedition members reported encounters with the icy masked figures both in their sleep and in waking life. As Dr. Harper's condition worsened, her grip on reality slipped further. She began to insist that the cave itself was conspiring against them, that it held a malevolent intelligence that wished to drive them to madness. Her accusations became increasingly bizarre and disconnected from reality, but they only deepened the sense of fear and unease that pervaded the camp. The expedition, which had begun with the promise of scientific discovery, now teetered on the edge of a precipice. As the blizzard raged on outside, the members faced a more immediate and unsettling danger from within, a danger that stemmed from their own unraveling minds and the malevolent forces that seemed to have taken root in the depths of the cave. Their journey, once driven by scientific curiosity, had led them to a place where the boundaries of reality and nightmare had become indistinguishable. The expedition members were now ensnared in a nightmarish world where the only truth was the chilling uncertainty of their sanity and the malevolent forces that lurked in the shadows of the cave. The situation took a sinister turn when, during a violent snowstorm, an otherworldly figure emerged from the ice itself. It was a grotesque, humanoid being, encased in a translucent, frozen shell, with a sinister mask-like face. The creature's movement was sluggish, as if it had been trapped beneath the ice for millennia. Dr. Harper and her team watched in horror as more of these entities began to emerge from the ice, slowly encircling the camp. It became clear that these beings were not from the realm of the living. They were ancient spirits that had been imprisoned beneath the frozen tundra. The snowstorm raged around the camp, and the wind howled with an eerie, otherworldly force. The expedition members, their minds already teetering on the brink of madness, could scarcely believe their eyes. These entities, with their icy masks and translucent forms, were like something out of a nightmare, a living manifestation of the ancient hieroglyphs that had lined the cave's walls. The team huddled together in the dimly lit camp, their flashlights casting trembling beams that illuminated the grotesque figures. Dr. Harper, once the stalwart leader of the expedition, was now consumed by her own madness. She believed that the entities were the guardians of the cave, the protectors of its dreadful secrets, and she feared that they were here to exact a terrible retribution for disturbing the tomb of the ancient civilization. As the night wore on, the entities did not make any aggressive moves. They simply stood there, encircling the camp in an eerie, frozen tableau. But the mere presence of these ancient spirits, with their sinister masks and the weight of ages in their eyes, filled the expedition members with an unshakable dread. The camp was now a prison, surrounded by malevolent beings from a forgotten era. The team's tenuous grip on reality continued to slip, and the expedition had become a descent into the heart of madness itself. Dr. Harper's mental state had deteriorated to the point where she believed that the only way to appease the ancient spirits was to offer a sacrifice. The team, divided by paranoia and fear, faced a grim decision. They could no longer trust their leader, and their options were limited. As the storm raged on and the entities closed in, they had to make a choice that would seal their fate and determine whether they would become one with the ancient spirits, forever imprisoned in the icy tomb of the Arctic. The expedition members, gripped by terror and madness, knew they had to escape the unearthly beings that surrounded them. In the blinding snowstorm, they made a frantic dash through the icy landscape, their only hope to reach the safety of civilization. The blizzard raged with unrelenting fury, and the snow-laden winds cut through their clothing like icy blades. Desperation fueled their flight, and they stumbled through the whiteout conditions, their breaths freezing in the air. The expedition members, once driven by scientific curiosity, were now driven by a primal instinct for survival. The creatures pursued them relentlessly, their icy masks glinting in the dim light. These entities moved with a purpose that transcended the physical world, as if they were guided by forces beyond human understanding. The pursuit was a nightmarish dance between the living and the spectral, with the expedition members caught in the middle. As the landscape shifted and changed around them, the team members couldn't shake the feeling that they had trespassed into a realm beyond the known world. The snow-covered terrain seemed to warp and twist, and the very ground beneath their feet became an undulating, treacherous maze. The blizzard, with its howling winds and blinding snow, added to the chaos of their flight. Visibility was reduced to mere inches, and the expedition members relied on their instincts to navigate the hostile environment. Each step through the storm was a battle against the elements, as if the very Arctic itself conspired to keep them from escaping the entities. As they struggled through the relentless blizzard, the expedition members knew that their chances of survival were diminishing with each passing moment. The icy mask-wearing figures, embodiments of a terrible past, continued their pursuit with relentless determination, as though they were guardians of a dark secret that could never be revealed. The team members, their energy waning and their hopes dwindling, faced an inescapable truth. They were trapped in a nightmare from which there seemed to be no awakening. Their flight through the Arctic's frozen wasteland was a desperate attempt to elude the grasp of the ancient spirits, to escape a realm where the boundaries between life and death, reality and nightmare, had blurred into a chilling, eternal twilight. And as the expedition members' strength waned and the blizzard raged on, they realized that escape was futile. The relentless icy figures closed in, their skeletal hands reaching out to claim the living. Exhausted and disoriented, the team members knew that they had reached the end of their journey, not in the way they had envisioned when they set out, but in the most nightmarish and unimaginable manner. The Arctic wilderness, an unforgiving and timeless expanse, had become their final resting place. In a final chilling moment, the expedition members felt the grip of the unearthly entities enveloping them. Their bodies began to freeze, and they became one with the ancient spirits that had long been imprisoned beneath the ice. The Arctic, which had hidden these malevolent forces for centuries, now welcomed them back into its icy embrace. As the last traces of life left their bodies, the expedition members' thoughts were filled with the haunting hieroglyphs, the eerie whispers, and the nightmarish visions that had led them to this frozen tomb. They had uncovered the secrets hidden beneath the Arctic's glacial cover, but they had paid the ultimate price for their curiosity. The blizzard howled on, obscuring the tragedy that had unfolded in the Arctic's desolate heart. The relentless storm buried the expedition members and the ancient spirits under layers of snow and ice, as if nature itself sought to erase the memory of their ill-fated journey. The Arctic wilderness, a place of stunning beauty and unforgiving cruelty, had claimed its victims. The ice and the snow would keep their secrets, and the frozen figures that had pursued the expedition would remain hidden, awaiting the next ill-fated visitors to the frigid expanse.